Alright, good to be back, ladies and gentlemen. We have actually a really cool episode. We're going to be going over 2 different UFOs. One of them is actually from the recent volcano that is happening. It seems that Mother Nature is not having her good day, so to speak. And we're also going to go over another UFO that was submitted by one of the viewers who emailed me and showed me, well, what can I say? It's pretty spectacular. We're going to kind of break down technically what's going on, why this actually could really be something that is legitimate. And yeah, without wasting too much of your time, let's get right to it. Okay, so let's look at the volcano video. This first time I saw this video, I was actually thinking that there was something really interesting. And why would it be so interesting? Why are volcanoes such an interesting topic in terms of UFOs? Well, one of the best images that was ever captured in ufology, in the history of ufology, and I say this because this image was actually captured when there was technically film, no digital photography, and it was captured by the Costa Rican military, who was working with a team of researchers that had connections with National Geographic. Now, this team was doing a topographical study over Lake Arenal, which stands right on the foothills of the Volcano Arenal, and they were basically in this topographical study using a German camera that was loaned to them because it was so damn expensive. This camera was worth $100,000, I kid you not. And then they capture this. This is actually a real image. It's considered to be one of the best UFOs ever caught, and it was captured near a volcano. Now, what I thought was so incredible was that I've seen UFOs near volcanoes. A while back, I started looking at images on Google, specifically on this area, Lake Arenal, and suddenly in the background, I just noticed, I'm like, wait a second, is that a UFO? And then I started sifting through more and more images, and I realized that this area is full of UFOs. Like, it wasn't just one individual, and I'm not even looking for UFOs. I literally just typed Lake Arenal, and these images are coming up one after another with UFOs in the background. And I'm like, what is this? This is crazy. Like, these are just random images that people are submitting with random things in the background, some of them that actually matched each other. That's what's so crazy. So whether the person thought that they captured a UFO or not, what I can say is some of it matched. And I even made an episode about this called Can You Find UFOs on Google Images? So in this video, I literally went to Google Earth on the spot and found another UFO, as you can see. So it's really interesting. What is it about volcanoes that UFOs, UAVs, whatever you want to call it, seem to be so interested? There's some kind of strange correlation. Are there underground caverns? Are there underground bases? Are they using the lava tubes as a form of structure so that they can hide under the crust of Earth? I think that's an interesting hypothesis. Anyways, let's go ahead and check out this first video. So the first video that I saw was this one, which it's like, whoa, what is that? You know, you see this thing flying around, and then it turns into this little speck of white lights, and that really made me kind of think that there's something weird here. But I found a different video, which I think is a replicate of the same one. And let me show you this second video real quick. I'll let this finish. Okay, so the second video is this one right over here. So it looks like it's coming from a news, some kind of Spanish news. And here's the object. Now, for some reason, that first video didn't show the object in the way that it floats right in front. And this is actually really important because I went ahead and I did some analysis on this video. And here is my analysis real quick. So there it comes. It looks strange at first, but as it comes back around, look at this. Okay, wait a second. I need to stop right here. It's hard to see because of all the smoke, but when you stop it, right there. Does that look familiar to anybody? Has anybody ever flown a drone? Have you ever seen this guy, a Phantom 4? It looks very, very obvious that it's probably that. Look, when you pause it over here, you can literally see like the legs right over here. And I really try to blow this up, try to really create as much detail as I can. And you're not always going to get the details because of the smoke, but right here you clearly see the legs, you clearly see the body, you see the little blackness that's, you know, I don't exactly know what's creating that blackness, but when you do look at the image, you know, there is some darkening near the camera area with these white legs. So given that it's a volcano and that a lot of people were trying to videotape this volcano because it was such an interesting occurrence that was happening at Canary Islands, my analysis is that that particular video is probably a drone. But before you tune away, wait till you see the next video, because this one is the one that really got me excited. So this one was originally posted by a channel called Finding UFO. I never really saw them, but I'll go ahead and leave the link. Now, I found out about this footage from a viewer who emailed me and to kind of tell me how impressive this is. And I have to admit, there is something really strange about this particular footage. So let's go ahead and take a look, and I'll just go ahead and play it right now. Fast forward to where the video actually starts, which is around right here. Now, if you're wondering why it looks so strange, it's because this is being shot on infrared. You can kind of tell, you can tell by the way that he switches, and here's where it's really interesting. So he switches from infrared. I was gonna say you can tell because of the blue leaves right here, but look at this. What? So the object suddenly disappears. Now, I'm not seeing these lights disappearing. I'm not seeing this light disappear. So why is it that this particular object disappears? It's weird. All I can say is it's very strange. So I would show you the whole video, but it's 9 minutes long, and so just for the sake of time, I'm kind of going to highlight the different points that I noticed in the video that I thought was really interesting. Now the question is, could this be something like CG? And my analysis, just spoiler alert, I'm just going to say it, I think this is real. There's something very strange going on with this video, and let me show you the exact moments that I thought are very difficult to explain away as just being CG. So obviously, as I showed you earlier, it kind of randomly goes into this infrared, non-infrared mode. Here's another one that's a little bit more complete because he actually turns the camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and just play this. There's some random person there, turns back, there's the object. I guess you can track that with CG, but it's not exactly easy to do so, especially when the object goes off frame. And there's some other really interesting details that people may not be aware of right away. One of them is that he starts showing an external monitor, and you can see that in external monitor you don't really see anything. Here is, I think this is the screen of the actual camera itself, and if you're wondering what camera this is, well, at one point it says that it's a Sony right over here, and then when I go to the yellow right over here, it says that the video Alpha 7 3S. So I'm guessing it's a Sony Alpha 7S III. But if it is that camera, it doesn't shoot infrared. But if you look at the internet, they do have conversions for the camera. So basically you can kind of submit this camera to some kind of processor or some company that will take away a certain filter to, I guess, make this infrared capable. 7S3 is a pretty expensive camera. Another thing that I noticed that's kind of interesting is that, as I was showing earlier, they're using some kind of external device, this guy right here. Now, what is that? Well, if you kind of push forward a little bit, there it is. This guy right here. I know that symbol, and the reason why I know that symbol is because I have the same thing. Look at that. It's the exact same symbol. So he's literally using an Atomos recorder. It could even be this exact recorder, which is Atomos Ninja 5 recorder. So they're using pretty good equipment, I would say. It seems like it's legitimate. The recorder obviously is I can verify that it's a legitimate external recorder. And once again, let's go back to this other perspective. And if you're wondering, is this really infrared? Well, let me show you something real quick. At this exact moment, when I push play, watch this. Wait, what is that? What is that? Why is it sparking like that? It's sparking like that. Let me return. Because the dude has his camera. You see how the sparks are coming from the camera? So his camera is probably has some kind of IR blaster, infrared blaster. A lot of these newer cameras have these infrared blasters that allows you to use it as like a remote control. So if you're to take an actual remote control and flash it on an infrared camera, you're gonna see the exact same type of sparkle. So this to me is just like one of those tiny little details that makes it obvious that this is really a real infrared camera that they're using, that they're obviously capturing something that they're not able to see with the regular light spectrum. And then if we just fast forward to this part right over here, what's interesting is that he goes ahead and actually covers the object with his fingers. Look at that. With his hands. And let me tell you, if I've done some rotoscope work, if you try to rotoscope this, you know, to get the little blurriness on the edge, the way it's the most painstaking process. It's not an easy thing to do. And like I said, all of these signs, the fact that they're using expensive equipment, the fact that I can recognize the recorder, the fact that the guy claims it's a 7S3 and you see the Sony, everything is matching here. And this definitely doesn't look like it's CG. That's my final conclusion. So I went ahead and I did my own analysis.
Took the images, I created an action in Photoshop, I changed channel mixers, I then overlaid it with another layer, and then with the action, I created a batch process to do the action for every single still frame, because I actually exported the entire image into still frames, and then I recompiled all those images into something kind of like the way you would do it for a time lapse.
So here is the result. Now it's not giving any extra details necessarily. I mean, the whole point was trying to gather extra details, but just want to give you a different perspective of that object when you kind of break it down with a different type of channel mixer overlaying with the color layers. So this is what I got. Basically what I was trying to do is see if I can see a structure underneath those lights, and what I can tell you is it was inconclusive. I could not tell if usually sometimes I've actually noticed like very hard edges where I'll see like a perfect triangle. With this one, I couldn't see that. It almost looked like they were just kind of lights and some kind of ambience around the lights, as if that's all there was, as if there was no structure in between. Now, you could judge that to be different. I just think because it's so soft, that's why my conclusion is that it doesn't seem like there's an obvious structure, one that's clearly visible. Maybe there is, maybe just you can't see it because it's, you know, also in the infrared, and it's difficult to tell. But one thing that did make me a little bit hesitant is that when you go from the very beginning to the very end, well, this object never really, look where it's at in the mountain. It's as if it doesn't move. So I don't know what to say. Like, if it was a UFO, you think, hey, this thing is gonna move, unless it's just doing some kind of experiments on the forest over there. Maybe these things are so, you never know. But the fact that it can only be spotted with infrared, and that we can conclude that this is almost certainly real footage and not a CG, that makes this exceptionally interesting. Very unusual. Like I said, it doesn't seem like it's some random light tower over there, because the other lights didn't seem to react to the infrared. See, the other lights are still there. It's only that particular light that for whatever reason seems to change. Yeah, so very cool. I want to thank the viewer for submitting this footage, or asking me to review this footage. This is the type of stuff that I need. Like, I need the audience to help me out by contributing as much material as possible. I do have some material from some individuals that I still have not gathered permission for. One last thing, we got the remote viewing section. All right, so the remote viewing results, unfortunately, for this particular card, we only had like a couple answers. Out of like 800 views in that video, it wasn't a lot of views in the video. We only had 2 individuals who actually attempted this remote viewing, so neither of them got it. The chances of it happening with only 2 individuals is very low, but I want to go ahead and show you the results nonetheless, in case you tried it and decided not to participate. But here is the same code that I wrote on the image itself, and this is the image. Oops, backwards. So it's basically of the World Trade Centers, but with the lights. After the World Trade Centers were taken down and they did the ceremonial lights on New York. I thought it was kind of an interesting image. Who knows? I was just curious to see what people would see when I put this image. So instead of doing the whole remote viewing in the envelope thing, I've decided that I'm going to do a digital form of it. And it's basically the same thing. I'm going to have the same code. I already set up the image attached to a code, and I actually even have a video that timestamped that particular moment, so that that's the image that was chosen at that exact moment. So let me give you the code for the new remote viewing session. So the code is HGX739Y. HGX739Y. That code is going to be attached to my text edit with a particular image. I already made the video that proves that this image was placed at this exact moment in time. And if you want to participate, just go ahead and write RV column and basically your best guess. Now, I just kind of want to say that we had many winners. Like, we've had like 3 double winners, and 1 person who's actually won 3 times. So if you're doubting whether remote viewing is real or not, my personal opinion is this channel has shown that, like, from the viewers have an unbelievable hit ratio with this channel. So I highly encourage people to go ahead and try the remote viewing. Once again, RV column and your best guess. And if you have any questions about how to remote view, just hit me up on email, and I'll go ahead and share you the methods that I personally use to remote view. I've had a few success rates myself, nothing that I've published online, but just on my own personal time. So, and last but not least, if you stuck long enough to hear this, I'm gonna be honest with you, Second Earth may be done. Maybe I'm being hyperbolic, maybe not completely done. I'm actually creating a new channel, and I'm gonna kind of try to transfer my efforts, my energy and time to building this other channel, which hopefully you'll subscribe to. I don't know what to call it right now. So I would love the audience's help. If you have any suggestion of what I could call a channel that could be really cool, I would give you mad props plus a prize. Okay, I'll just say what the prize is. I'm basically gonna take any drawing of yours and make a photorealistic version for yours to keep. I mean, if you want to make it into crypto art, go ahead and it's yours. It's yours to keep. It's something that I work a lot with Photoshop. It's something I've been kind of trying to teach myself. So I thought it would be a great way to give back. And it doesn't have to be a great drawing. It can be like just a silly little drawing, and I'll really try to make it as photorealistic. If you want an example of what I'm talking about, this is what I did with my uncle's drawing. Take a look. So yeah, so that is the prize. If I end up choosing the name that you have for my channel, I'll go ahead and do that, as well as if you get the remote viewing correct. That's also going to be a prize. I'm going to go ahead and make a photorealistic version of any drawing that you would like. And just to give you a preview of my new logo, there it is. I'm thinking strange blue planets. Since I've created Second Earth 4 years ago, there's been so many new channels about UFOs that it's like all the names are taken. Like I was actually thinking Stranger X. I thought Stranger X would be kind of a cool name. There's like 6 or 7 channels called Stranger X. I mean, granted, none of them are like super successful, but still, it's like, man, really? So Strange Blue Planet is something that surprisingly has not been taken. So yeah, so I just want to show you the logo in case it inspires you to have any creative names for the new channel. All right, I think I've talked enough. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Felipe speaking, signing out.